Hi. So your client is a CEO of a publishing company producing an educational magazine and a women's magazine already. Now, both businesses are profitable but not growing fast enough. So the CEO wants to start a third monthly magazine in the US, and it is to be targeted at 30 to 60-year-old men.
Okay.
Now he wants to know from you if he can reach his goal of 15 million in revenues, $15 million in revenues in the first year. Do you think that's possible?
Okay, I think I got it. But I got a follow-up question. So our client is a publishing company that currently publishes educational and women's magazines, and they want to introduce a magazine for 30 to 60-year-old men, and it's targeted to all men in that age
Yes.
group? Okay, and now we should decide, and we don't have to care about whether they should introduce it or not. That's already fixed. We should only have a look at the 50 million revenue, if that's reachable.
Correct. So just to make sure you got the question right, so it's targeted to all men between 30 and 60. And yes, they only want to know if they can reach that goal. And the decision whether to launch it or not is already done, is already taken.
Okay. I've made a rough roadmap here I want to give you now. So, to estimate the revenue of a new magazine, I want to evaluate an average price per magazine, and then basically the amount of magazines we sell to get the revenue. So first, the prices, which I think is the most interesting part. And I see two options here to find a suitable price. Either we benchmark similar magazines that are already offered by competitors and just use their prices, or we could use another approach and base the price on the value we offer to potential customers. And we could just ask them what they are willing to pay for our magazine.
Okay. So two different options of pricing. Which one would you choose?
At this point right now, I just assume that our magazine will probably be not different from the ones that are in the market, so we can use the competitors' prices. Is that a good assumption? Do we know something about the content of the magazine yet?
Well, since to keep things easy, let's assume that the magazine is not going to be all too different from the existing ones, from the competitors' ones.
Okay, good. So do we have the competitors' price range?
Yes, we do. It varies between 3 to 350, depending on the retail channel.
Okay, you said retail channel.
Yes.
Can you give me some hints? What channels are we using?
Well, if I say we have different retail channels, what do you think of some reasonable channels for a magazine publisher or magazine company like us?
If I use my experience and the way I buy magazines, there are two major ways. The first one is just simply going to the store, and the second one is having a subscription and getting it every month or so per mail.
Yeah.
And,
Interesting.
And
Go on.
concerning the price range, I would assume that the $3 comes from subscriptions, because usually subscribers, they say, okay, I'm getting the magazine for a year, but then they pay less.
Yeah, what she's saying is true, but your conclusion is not right. So why do you think it might be the other way around? So that what I want to say is that in the end, subscriptions are cheaper for customers, but
Okay.
So do we sell always directly to our customers?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. The subscriptions we just sell it to our customers and they pay us.
Yeah.
But through the retail channels and the stores, I mean, we usually sell them to the stores and then they sell the magazines to the customers. So they add some kind of margin on it.
Correct.
I don't know. If
They need to make money.
Yeah, if they added $1, then the customer pays 4 in the end, so the subscription will be cheaper for him.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just a recap about the price, which you just found out.
Yeah, just to sum it up really quick, we already know the prices and we already know through which channel our customer is getting which. Now, what I would like to do as next step is that I would check if we basically just use the prices of our competitors, or if we adjust them somehow, maybe have lower prices to ease the entry. And I mean, this is mostly dependent on the market situation and how competitive it is. But in the end, it's a question of elasticity. So, how much more customers are we able to get if we decrease the prices further? So, and I mean, we can imagine certain scenarios with different prices, and then have different amounts that we sell, and then we get different revenues, and then we can evaluate if the target of our customer is met. So first, I kind of would evaluate just the basic scenario where we go into the market with the same prices, and we offer the products for the same price. And
so what's next?
So next, I would have a look at what kind of customers do we actually have.
Men, I said, between 30.
Yes, that's the target of the magazine. But usually, I mean, what I would say is that you have just the regular private customer, and on the other hand, but also some kind of commercial customers. For example, doctors' offices who just have them in their office, and then people can read through it while they're waiting for their.
Okay, so you mean kind of a B2B customers?
Yeah,
actually.
I mean,
companies.
Yeah, for example, bigger companies. I mean, I would separate this because there are different approaches on how I would evaluate the market. Because for private customers, I mean, I think it's kind of easy because we just have the amount of men. Just let me ask again, we're talking about the United States here, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so we just have to check how many are in that particular age group, and then how many of them are reading magazines and so on. So to get into that, I would start with the population of the United States, which is 300 million roughly, and then half of it is men, so 150 million. And now we have to find out how many are in the age group of 30 to 60.
Correct.
Well, I mean, the easiest thing is just to assume some kind of equal distribution of the people in each age group, and
let's assume they are uniformly spread. Okay.
Yeah,
so
just
age
ease it up, and then we have some kind of average life, which is, I say, just 80 years. I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, for the US.
We have to kind of look how many of those are in the age group. And the range of our target group is from 30 to 60, so 30 years. And that is 30 through 80, so 3/8 of all men in the United States are in our target group. And now let me just roughly calculate that out. 3/8 of 150. I mean, it's going to give us a
3/8 of what?
Of 150 million, the total amount of men. And just to not have a too crooked number, let's just say it's 50 million. I mean, because we're just using real big numbers now. And so that is our actual target group, the amount of people in there. But I mean, how many men do actually read magazines? Is there any reliable data there we can use?
That's a good question because, well, the potential market is what you said, 50 million, but really not all men read magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume more or less like 10% of men buy a magazine usually every month. So 10% of them read magazines.
Okay. And so it's 5 million customers that are reading magazines like ours. And
what would you do now with that?
well, now we have the overall market, a realistic number of people who read magazines, and now we have to evaluate which competitor and or who's getting what share of the pie, and well, I mean we will be new in this market, so we're just right at the beginning. I mean we have no market share right now at all.
Sure.
And I assume that this magazine market is pretty. I mean, it's a competitive one. This product is already developed. There are lots of magazines like that in the market. So I don't know. Do we have a number? I would assume that it's a really low one, between 0.
So what you want to know is what our market share in the first year will be,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So let's assume 5%.
Okay. Let me just calculate that out. 5% of our 5 million customers is 250,000. Okay. So now we're almost there, and because now we have the amount of customers and we have the prices, and now we have to know how many of the customers are buying through the retail stores, and how many of them are getting the magazines as subscribers. I mean, what I would use is a rough as estimator, is just a number we have with our other magazines.
Sure.
To get an estimation.
So
do we have anything?
We actually expected to sell half the magazines through subscription and the other half by retail channels.
Okay,
And
this is great.
don't forget that the magazine will be issued 12 times a year, so it's a monthly magazine.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Don't forget it.
Okay, because we're having we're estimating all on a yearly basis. So, okay, then I mean the fact that it's distributed 50%, makes it easy to calculate just an average price we receive, and it's
what would it be?
Just the mids between 3 and 350, so 325. And now the yearly amount of magazines we have is the 12,000 customers, which buy every month one magazine, so they buy it 12 times, and 150,000 times 12 gives us 3 million magazines that are sold per year, and now we just have to multiply it, price times amount, 3 times the price of 325 gives us 9, and 0.25 times 3 is an additional 750,000, so 9.75
correct
million euros is the expected revenue from all private customers we have, and this is 10 million. So at this point, we will not gain sufficient amount to reach the target, and I mean it depends on the amount of commercial buyers we have. And I would suggest, again, we have to calculate the price and the amount, and I would suggest they usually buy through subscriptions because they need it all the time, so that's the easiest way for them.
Yeah.
And now the amount, and this gives me some trouble because I don't really know the customers we have, potential customers, so I would brainstorm here.
So let's say it's about half of the customers, right?
Okay.
It's less than that, but just to make it easier for you to calculate. So what would that mean?
Well, if we have half of the customers, then it's 1.5 million, and we already told you the price, 350 from subscriptions. So again, it's just a multiplication of 1.5 times 3.5. Okay, this is as much as easy as before, but it is 5.25 million, and
5.25. Okay, so that's revenue from private from commercial B2B customers. Okay.
Yes. So well, altogether we make. I mean, we exactly meet the point we have. We said on the one side, okay, from private we get about 10 million, and from the companies we get 5 million. So overall 15 million.
So we would reach the goal. So I don't see all the revenue streams that there are in a magazine there. So what do you think could be revenues from a magazine? Like imagine a regular magazine. What's in it?
I mean, regular men's magazine for all men. I mean, it has text, pictures.
Yeah. So who writes the text, or who puts in the picture? Who chooses the pictures in the magazine?
Okay.
And what kind of pictures are there? Forgetting something?
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. I mean, we have on the one hand we have just the picture. We have the advertisers that put in pictures and ads, and we have our regular employees who put in the articles and pictures and something.
Correct.
So I forgot about the
advertisement. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this would even this would even add to our point that the client will reach his goal, because I mean we just get more revenue, and it is even more than 15 million.
Correct.
So,
fair enough. So before presenting your point to a client, what else would you consider in your answer?
okay. Well, of course, I would consider the advertising and calculate the revenue and that stuff.
Sure.
And then, yes, I said before, what I did the entire time was just calculating this one basic scenario where we just have the price as our competitors. And as I mentioned, I would kind of assume different prices, maybe 2 different scenarios with 10% higher and lower price, and
to test the sensitivity price.
Exactly, and then kind of how many customers do we get, and also I would give some kind of sensitivity analysis to certain assumptions we had. For example, the 5% market share. I mean,
we might not get there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just estimated, and we cannot be sure, and so we also have to kind of make a worst case and see what is it getting us.
Okay.
To make sure that the client is, even in the worst case, is on the secure side.
So anything else apart from that?
I mean, the overall question at the beginning was strange, because Yeah, I mean, he just asked us if we can reach 50 million in revenues. I mean, I would also evaluate if this project is profitable at all. I mean, have a look at the costs of
Sure. Well,
making such a magazine.
we assume that the client has already a good idea of the costs they're gonna have, but you're right. The bottom line is what matters. Is the project gonna be profitable or not? Okay, I like your point. So can you summarize what you concluded, what you learned so far, and present it to our client in a succinct way?
Okay, good. Okay, referring to his initial question, and let me just
You can take some time to
So
organize your
number correct, yeah,
conclusion
thank
if
you.
you want.
to get the most important points here. Okay, so what I would tell our client is that according to our valuations, Demands magazine will definitely exceed 15 million in revenues, because already with our customers' revenue only, we will already make the 15 million dollars, and then we can also add the additional advertising revenue, so we're on the safe side here, and we are sure to receive the goal. And also, I would say that future revenue can even be higher if we are able to expand market share once we are better known and through adaptation of prices, because what we did here was just for the first year. And
Okay.
so I think we can expect even more revenue. But however, we have to keep the risk in mind that we have no statement about profitability yet, just about the revenues.
Okay, great.